Okay, now moving up the right side of the bracket now, the East region. So Villanova versus winner of LIU Brooklyn / Radford. Radford's a good program. They really did a good job getting themselves in the tournament, get their program back to relevancy. I mean, I think it's good for them to be able to show, like, hey, our program can do some stuff. Sort of showcase what they can do as a program. And me personally, I think they did a really good job in terms of their program. Villanova's too good. Jalen Brunson's maybe a lottery pick. Mikal Bridges looking like a lottery pick. Their team is too solid. The excellence, I think Villanova's going to blow out Radford. I don't think that first 4 games even going to matter because obviously I think Villanova is going to blow them over. I think my team to watch out in this region is Alabama. I think they can make a couple of upsets. I have Alabama beating Virginia Tech. Buzz Williams has a solid program. Obviously, if you watch Virginia Tech, they did knock off Virginia earlier this year, one of Virginia's 2 losses, and they did knock off Duke as well. But I don't think they're beating Alabama. I think Colin Sexton and Alabama is rolling too much right now. The momentum they got from the SEC tournament, obviously beating Auburn and that crazy last-second win against Texas A&M. I think they're riding a lot of momentum. So I think Alabama's going to get this one. I think Colin Sexton, like I said, when Alabama's rolling, him and Avery Johnson will get something going. And I think when Alabama's rolling, they're playing really, really well. Quality team basketball. So I'm picking Alabama on this one. I just have a feeling. And I also think that Alabama is not the better team, but I think that's an upset that it's potentially being underrated because nobody thinks Alabama deserves to be in. West Virginia versus Murray State. West Virginia will get this one. Press Virginia. They play press very hard. I don't know if a team like Marshall, I know they're up-tempo a little bit. I don't know much about Murray State. Sorry, not Marshall. I don't know much about Murray State, so I'm going to go with the team that I have seen this year, West Virginia. Javon Carter, Teddy Allen off the bench. Solid guys, solid players who execute Bob Higgins' system. So it's nice to see West Virginia sort of playing easy opponents and getting success. Wichita State, Marshall. I know Marshall's okay. Marshall, obviously, pillow fight conference. Wichita State was not in a pillow fight conference. The AAC was very tough. Houston and Cincinnati were both rising up this year. So I think Wichita State had a really solid year, so I think Wichita State's going to get this one. Wichita State, Landry Shamet, Frank Van Camp. A lot of solid players on their team. Shaquille Morris down low. And then they got McDuffie on the perimeter. They got a lot of good players, a lot of good guys that can sort of contribute to this team, which is really, really good for them because they need the solid guys. And like Greg Marshall-led program. Greg Marshall's one of the best coaches in college basketball. Led Wichita State to a Final Four a couple years ago with Carl Hall and Fred VanVleet and Ron Baker. And Wichita State's been doing pretty much better ever since. So Wichita State's a really good school. Florida versus the winner of St. Bonaventure / UCLA. I think UCLA, Aaron Holiday, Thomas Welsh, I think they'll overwhelm St. Bonaventure. But I see Florida beating UCLA. Florida is just too good. I think they have too much experience in terms of seniors. I know Aaron Holiday was in the tournament last year. I do know most of the UCLA team was in the tournament this year. But I think some of their younger core pieces just need the experience in the tournament. And I feel like they're just happy to be there. So I feel like they're not going to execute come actual tournament time. Plus, Florida's a team that has proven to execute in certain games. So I think Florida will get this one. Texas Tech versus SF Austin. I'm picking Texas Tech in this game. I think Texas Tech is one of those teams that Texas Tech shows, Texas Tech shows like, hey, we're a good team. We get it done, right? I feel like Texas Tech is one of those teams that'll get it done. So I'm going to pick Texas Tech in this part. And I think Texas Tech's a really good team. They played pretty well. Obviously, they played Texas, Oklahoma, these guys. Obviously, pillow fight conference. But still, they played pretty well in conference play and pretty well overall. So I'm going to take Texas Tech over SF Austin. Arkansas, Butler. Butler's from the Big East. Butler, obviously, I don't know why they were in 13 losses. Didn't do too well in conference play. Got bounced early. It was perplexing to me. I was like, oh wow, Butler got in this year. Ooh, they really snubbed some people, but they got in. So I think Arkansas is going to win that game. SEC, like I said, I don't really think Butler deserved to be in. Arkansas is just a better team in terms of efficiency. So I'm going to go with Arkansas. I really haven't watched them too much, but I know they're a very efficient team. Purdue, CSU Fullerton. I really like that CSU Fullerton is in the tournament. CSU Fullerton is one of those teams. They've been playing really, really well lately, and they obviously won their conference championship, CSU Fullerton. But I think their Cinderella run's not even going to go anywhere. Purdue's too good. Isaac Haas, Carson Edwards as the guard. They're just too good, too solid down low, and they got a good guard play. So I think Purdue's going to smoke CSU Fullerton. All right, so Villanova versus Alabama. I'm gonna pick an upset. I'm picking the upset here. I think Colin Sexton is gonna get it done. Colin Sexton is a great player. Great. Like I said, when the team is rolling, it's rolling. I think Villanova has been too inconsistent for me lately for me to pick them. Yes, they didn't win the Big East, but they lost to Creighton, and they had a bunch of bad losses towards February, March, and I just feel like they haven't been playing their best basketball. They even went to overtime with Providence. Obviously, the Big East teams are good, but I think Nova's not consistent right now, and I think Alabama's going to be that team. Colin Sexton, he's going to prove his worth. I think he's really going to take Alabama to another level this year, and I think he's going to take Alabama to the Sweet 16 and get past Villanova in the second round. Another second-round matchup, I think that's going to happen. West Virginia versus Wichita State. This is going to be a really good one as well. West Virginia, both very disciplined teams. Very good programs, very good coaches. This is a coin flip game for me. I think West Virginia is going to win just based on player personnel. I like Landry Shamet and Frank Van Camp, but I think Javon Carter and the big man down low and Teddy Allen. I just think West Virginia has too much good stuff happening for them right now. West Virginia, I think their press is really going to confuse Wichita State because Wichita State, they play good teams, but I feel like they haven't played a team that's offensively and defensively that as good as West Virginia. So I think West Virginia is on the level by itself right now. So I think West Virginia will take that one. Florida versus Texas Tech. I'm going to pick Florida here. I really like Florida. Good team, solidly coached, SEC team. So this will be another good one in this region, Florida, Texas Tech. What I really think about Florida is I think they're going to come out, they're going to be a little flat early on. Obviously, fatigue, and I think they're going to rise up in the second half and find a way to beat Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech is a very solid team. I think they're going to come out sharp. I think Florida might come out a little flat, and then Florida's going to rise up and get that one. So Florida advancing to Sweet 16. And the last matchup, Arkansas-Purdue. I think Purdue is just too good this year. Isaac Haas, Carson Edwards, like I said, good coaching. Arkansas, a good SEC team, but I feel like Arkansas is still that upstart team. I feel like Purdue has that experience. Purdue has what they need, keys to success. So I think Purdue's going to get it done and advance to the Sweet 16. So now we're looking at the Sweet 16 matchups. Bama versus West Virginia. And I'm going to go against all odds and I'm picking Alabama to go to the Elite Eight. They are my upset pick. They are going to beat West Virginia. I think they have the tools. Colin Sexton is good enough. If the players mesh, I think they have a really good chance to make the Elite Eight. And I feel like the crazier your bracket is, the more odds you have. So I'm gonna pick Alabama. I'm gonna go crazy and pick Alabama to go to the Elite Eight because I think Alabama has what it takes. I'm not just saying that because of Sexton. I feel like the other players as well. If they step up, they play well. I think Alabama really has a great chance to make it to the Elite Eight, and I think they will. The other Sweet 16 matchup, Florida versus Purdue. Like I said, Florida's very well coached, good team, but I'm sorry, I don't see Florida being able to beat Purdue. Purdue's got Isaac Haas down low. I just think Isaac Haas is a mismatch for Florida. Yeah, they do have they might have a big man to counter him, but I just feel like the guard play on Purdue, like I keep reiterating that, because I just feel like the guard play on Purdue is just way better than the guard play on Florida. Despite Florida having seniors, I just think Purdue is just in its league by its own. So Elite Eight matchup in this East region is Bama versus Purdue. And I'm going to go Purdue, obviously, because I think Purdue is just superior right now. Purdue is just, they're playing on a crazy good level. I just think if there's no Villanova, and Purdue won't have to face too much of a tough task, obviously. Having to face Arkansas, Florida, and Bama. So that'd be easy opponents for them. I think they could just scratch them off real easy. And CSU Fullerton. But I think they're easy opponents for them. They just scratch them off easily. I think this is one of the weaker regions. I don't think this is the weakest region. Like I said, I think the West is the weakest region. But I think this is the the third worst. I think this is in ranking. I would say this is the third worst region because there are 4 regions. So I'd say this is the third region in terms of quality of play. I think it'll be so. I think this one is where some of the upsets are gonna happen. More of the upsets are gonna happen in this bracket, I think, than the other brackets. But I still think in terms of quality of teams, I think this one is the third because if you look at the South, you got Virginia and Cincinnati. You got Virginia. And sorry, I said the South was actually worse than the East. If you look at the West, it's significantly better because you have Xavier. Or sorry, I think I said the West was the worst. I'm very sorry about this. So I think, yeah, but I think this is one of those. The East is sort of a bracket where it's the third worst because I feel like it's the third worst. Yeah, I said the West was the worst one because the West, I don't like the West at all. So I think second one would be South, third would be East, and then I think fourth would be West. But I just think there's no other than Villanova and Purdue, I don't really see any big name programs. I like West Virginia. I like these guys, but some of these guys are mid majors, I feel like, and they're not big time programs. And Virginia, I think the other one having Virginia, Kentucky, Arizona, and Cincinnati. So it's just like it is what it is. But I think this is a really good bracket. This is probably the third region in terms of ranking in all 4. But yeah. That's what I think. I think Purdue's gonna come out and go to San Antonio, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I think it'll be very interesting to watch this region in terms of upsets. There might be a lot happening in this region. I just feel like this region may be the most vulnerable region, just based on opponents and how teams play. I think it's gonna be a very, very interesting region. So I think you guys could really watch out for this region and see what happens in this region because I think it's gonna be really, really intriguing and interesting how this one's gonna play out compared to like maybe the other ones. So let's just embrace March Madness. And I have one more region to do, and I will get it to you in due time. So watch out for it.